friends. How are you,
Frank Kitty
Sus?
Podcast, episode 824. I'm okay. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm, almost officially moved into my new place and feeling real good about it. And I got my robot vacuum set up, which I haven't had set up in many years.
Yeah.
And it was like running this morning as I was prepping for the podcast. And I'm like sitting in my chair drinking my coffee. And I thought that was a dog next to me.
Oh, no.
I looked over and I went down to pet it.
Wow.
I instinctively reached my hand out and then I was like, nope, robot vacuum. Nope.
Man.
You don't have a pet.
It
So
is the
that's
Jetsons.
where I'm at, where I'm going to pet robots. So
What do you think that means? That you need a dog?
maybe, but it's like the universe is really testing me because, I told you about the two dogs that were roaming around that we called animal control for. Luckily, they were
Yeah.
microchipped. They found their owners, no problem. Then I'm at In-N-Out, like you do, and these two dogs are just roaming around. And in my head, I'm
Really?
thinking,
Again?
Sus, this was 2 days later. And I'm
That's
like,
crazy.
and in my head, I was like, what kind of dummy is letting their
Yeah.
dog walk around, both their dogs walk around without leashes on in the In-N-Out parking lot? This is so busy. And then I go in, get my hamburger, and come back out, and animal control is there. And I was like, oh man, that was the sweetest dog. I didn't know it didn't have a home. I wanted to go over there and I was like, Sarah, you don't need these dogs. You don't need a gigantic German Shepherd right now in your house that's like not even fully like put together. So as I'm like thinking about all this and thinking about my little robot vacuum, I'm like, I could use a little break from animal hair for a while.
So the takeaway is just if you didn't have so much hair, you'd run it less. You wouldn't mistake it for a dog.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
Okay, we'll go with that.
Yeah, but I was like,
They are a mess. That is for sure.
like a bit, and
Stinky.
Instagram
messy.
definitely is like, oh, she's into cats now. So it is feeding me cat videos and feeding me all of this like advertising for like cat brushes. And I saw one where I'm like, that's how much hair comes off. Like somebody was like, oh, it's shedding season or whatever. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah, it's
and
gross.
cat hair is worse than dog hair.
Yeah, it like sticks to your fingers.
Yeah, and it feels like I just breathe in and it's gonna like get all in my lungs and like, so
Yeah, it's very
there's a lot of dander. Yeah, like dander. Ugh, even that word, very
Yeah.
gross to me. Very gross.
So gross. I agree.
And it's.
I mean, I
so-
get it.
Yeah, and then I was like selling
All right.
some
Well,
stuff
you're
on.
resisting. That's
Yeah,
fine.
I was selling some stuff on Facebook Marketplace, and I listed from a pet-free home, and I was like, no, it's sort of true.
I mean, you do get a premium, smoke-free, pet-free.
Yes, I put that smoke-free, pet-free home.
Right?
Yep. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
What do you sell on there? Furniture or clothes?
I've just have so much stuff that, you know what I recently sold is my Omigo bidet because my new place does not have an outlet that's close enough to the toilet so I can plug that baby in.
A bidet was one of the answers for that green flags question we talked about last episode.
Oh, yes.
That if a man has a bidet, it's like you think, okay,
Good
well,
hygiene.
they're cleaning their beehole.
Yeah. And
Yeah, I guess so.
I have seen, though, the person who has the bidet but still has beard hair all over the place. And I feel like you can't have a clean beehole in a
Right.
dirty bathroom counter.
Yeah, those people, they just like to get their butthole massaged or something.
Yeah, what are you doing? So, like, just clean everything. So, yeah, so I'm selling a lot of that and a lot of, like, just stuff that I had saved that I thought, like, I'm not going to throw away rugs. Rugs are, like, expensive. So I have rugs that now are not the right size for the place I'm at. So I saved them, then rolled them out yesterday and was
Well,
like,
so then-
damn it. Got to roll them back up, put them on Facebook Marketplace.
When you list on the marketplace, it's like Craigslist,
Yes, it's like Craigslist.
where then they come over or you meet them somewhere. Or what's
Yes,
the
they come
protocol
over.
here?
They come over, and it's good that I'm in an apartment complex where there are multiple units and numbers, so I can just
'Cause
give
you don't
them
have that
general
German Shepherd.
address. Yeah, exactly. And I could just give them the general address,
Mm-hmm.
and they show up, and then I deliver the goods. And
They must be so happy to see you.
well, I think they're just happy to get a deal on some Tupperware bins and stuff like that. Yeah, those bins
Well,
went
but
fast.
aren't they ever like, oh my gosh, you're Sarah from a real world?
Never one time, because these people
different
were older.
demographic.
Yeah, they were not. And there was one lady where I'm like, you're definitely a hoarder looking for stuff to put your hoarding stuff into.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I'm fine with that, whatever, And
Yeah, sure.
yeah, and then stuff where I'm like, I'll just give it to Goodwill, and then I just thought, okay, I have some time, I'll list it, and then it sold in like 2 seconds. I'm like, well,
Wow.
fuck, now I shouldn't have given everything. I should have,
Good for you.
So I'm also trying to furnish my place with a lot of stuff that I find on there, because I'm finding that a lot of the furniture that you buy now, unless you spend $2,000 on it, is particle board, not real wood, and is not going to last. And
Yep.
I keep seeing like the reviews where a year later, like they'll all be like caved in and the wood is warping and everything. And I'm like, nah, I'll take the antique from the 1970s that's like solid wood and maybe needs to have the surface refinished or the top refinished, but like, who cares?
Yeah. I read an article about it, and this guy that used to be, they just said he used to be like the top guy for like an unnamed furniture company, because they didn't want to like whatevs. But they gave his real name, so I just looked on LinkedIn.
Nice.
And he was like the guy,
That's my girl.
from, that company Arhaus?
Yes.
Arhaus.
Yes.
So he used to work for them, and he was saying what you're saying, that even when you do pay a premium now, it's often this like particle board crap.
Yes.
And that his take was that really the only way to avoid it is to hire a carpenter.
Right.
And have them make you out of like walnut or whatever wood you want. And that is sad.
It really is. And I'm actually thinking of doing that.
Yeah.
Not hiring a carpenter, but I'm going to, me and my brother on a freaking weekend.
Yeah, Bob Vila over here.
Totally. What I'm really after are these round dining tables that have like a pedestal base, that it's like this Scandinavian Japanese kind of fusion. They call it Japandi style. That's like almost like these round like wooden dowels that go around like this pedestal base, and it's like a solid piece. And I'm like,
I love this.
I can make, and it was selling for like $700 to $2,000 and I'm like, seriously, I think I can make all those things.
You're just like Adam. He's always like, I can make that. We go to Pottery Barn.
100%. Right. I'm like, I could make, seriously, I can make that. And so I looked up the prices for the top, just a round top, $38. Yeah. I'm like, okay, $38, some wooden dowels wrapped around a fucking, and like,
I can honestly say I never think I can make anything. So
it is
I
so
admire
frustrating with So I'm trying to do in my mind, like what I was talking about before, like what's the cost, what's the return on the investment? How much time will it take me?
Yeah.
How much, all of that.
Well, but that could actually be worth it, because furniture is so pricey.
I think so. And I have some chairs I need to flip, and so I'll get rid of those and use that. I'm just like, I can't bring myself to refurnish another place and buy on. I've done that 4 times. I swear to God, if I have to buy another bedroom set, I will lose my shit. I can't do it. Mm-hmm. I'm like,
I got another tip. This was another article, a separate one about furniture. Yeah. And it was saying, because Amazon basically just stole everybody's business.
Yep.
All these companies like that sell that same level of like Home Depot, Target, Walmart, those companies, they all get the furniture from the same like source, this distributor. And then they just like name it different stuff. Yeah. So you should do a reverse image search, and you'll find all the various prices, because they're all priced at different levels.
I have learned this. There's a great website called dupe.com, dupe.com. And all you do is you go to that website, and then you put the URL of the item that you are looking for in their search bar. Wow. And it will give you all of the manufacturer, like, here you go, here are the ones that here's the same thing that you saw at Anthropology. And so I've been using that. Been like,
Adam always goes a step further. He tried to get like a wholesaler license from that company that
I love it.
They get all the furniture.
This is exactly what I do.
I know, you're the same person.
We are.
And they were like, well, but you don't sell furniture. And he's like, yeah, but we have like cottages.
Yeah. They're like, you have to buy 20 pieces.
Right. But hey, at least he tried. But the reason people feel that desperation is because we all know we're getting screwed and we don't know what to do about it.
Right. And I'm like, the furniture, I can't be replacing a dresser every 3 years for $500. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That
and then they make you feel guilty because we're all clogging up the landfills, but it's not our fault.
It's not, honestly.
We have to keep replacing this garbage.
That's what I thought when I was like taking everything to the Goodwill. And like some things I'm like, okay, I had to accept that. I have such little waste. I feel like I don't use a lot, so I don't throw away a lot. And I try to like turn things into other things and recycle it and all that. The amount of shit that I had to take, I mean, it was bin after bin after bin of stuff where I'm like, I can't even give this to the Goodwill. This is broken. This piece of Holland, this fell off. I can't even repair it. And I was like, I just added like an actual ton to the land. Susie, I was sick. I picked up so much trash this week because I've just been like, I'm trying to even the scales. I'm trying my best over here, but like you at a certain point, you do have to just I can't make the furniture last any longer.
You know what I think you should do if you're doing this Japandi creation?
Yeah.
What about if you got into bonsai?
You know what, Suze? It's funny you say that because I just saved a little video of one. It seems easy to do, to just kind of bend the branches to make them.
You could make that.
I could make that. Fuck, I'll make that shit. Yeah.
I mean, because I feel like you would really get into it, and you'd be you'd create a beautiful tree.
Oh, and I love the idea of like manicuring something and maintenance on it every day.
And it would go great with that table you're gonna make.
It really would. It would be perfect to right on top. That's a really good idea. I'll put that on my Christmas list. Bonsai kit.
Right. This is the point where we're like, none of this is what we were going to talk about.
Right. None of it. Not a single one of these things on my list. But you guys said you wanted to hear some personal stories. So it's
okay.
It's,
First, I'll tell you a personal story about me cooking up some bread and pasta and digging in.
Yes.
Wild grain. We love you.
That everything sourdough loaf.
It's the best ever. It should just make only that.
So good. I like to do, you know what I bet my current hyperfixation meal is egg in a hole.
Oh, yes. I'm feeling it because I accidentally bought 5 dozen eggs. It was a whole Costco mishap. And so Adam's like, oh, okay, we're having eggs again. And it's like that. But I'm never sad about it. It's delicious. And if you have egg in a hole with that everyday, with everything sourdough.
Yes. Oh,
get it.
It's so, I can taste it right now.
It's delicious. I mean, I say they should only make that, but I would miss their pastas and their pastries and all their macarons and everything. They even have Bavarian pretzels, which I am freaking in love with.
Yes.
So this stuff.
And let me tell you, it's very important. I'm on this kick. I said, everything that's coming into my house, I'm not doing processed anything. I'm doing my new house, only things that are good for my body and good for the environment. Awesome. Good, everything is coming in. So I'm not getting any more of that gross processed bread that's full of shit no. I want the stuff that's good for my gut health. My friend just got back from a trip to Europe and she's like, Sarah, the pastries, the bread and everything over there, it's so much better. And I'm like, wild grain is that bread.
It is.
And it is the pasta. Because that you can have it with, if you have stomach issues, it will not. It's the same as when you go to Europe and you're like, I can eat so much bread. How come I don't have the inflammation? Wonder what's going on. Because it's the good stuff. So tell the people.
Yeah. It's great. It comes to your door frozen. You bake it right then. It doesn't take long at all. It'll be ready. Like if you start cooking your dinner, then you can have a fresh loaf of bread with it. For a limited time, you get $30 off that first box, plus free croissants in every box when you go to wildgreen.com/braincandy to start your subscription. You heard us, free croissants in every box and $30 off your first box when you go to wildgreen.com/braincandy. That's wildgreen.com/braincandy, or you can use promo code braincandy at checkout. Give it a try, at least that first box. Yeah. And you'll be like, oh, I see what they were talking about.
Yes. And now it just makes me feel like I just like my fresh bread, my nothing.
We're fancy.
Yeah. I'm like shopping at farmers markets. I'm like on a kick.
That's great.
Yeah.
I can see why.
I briefly...
Your health has been prioritized.
Yes. And I felt like a reset where I can build whatever I want on top of this. You know, it's like, yeah, I ate my Costco tuxedo cake and my 5-pound thing of M&Ms that's almost gone, but I get to start fresh. And I watched this news clip. I didn't see like the whole story, but I just saw like some highlights from it on this man from England. I think he was from England, who switched his diet, who attempted to have an American diet for, I think it was like 100 days or something like that. And
oh no,
he went from having 20%, it was before he was eating 20% processed food, 80% like whole foods. And then he switched to 80% processed food, 20% whole foods. His body in no time looked so different. He gained like 12 pounds. And it looked, it's like in the wrong places where it puts a lot of stress on your body. And I have just been, you know, with everything we read and all these studies about longevity and what kind of diets are helpful and beneficial, I'm like, I don't want any of that anymore. And I really see the damaging effects that it has. So yeah, thinking about my body and I haven't had any alcohol in like 3 weeks.
How's that feel?
Really good.
Yeah. Right.
Really, really, really good. Like I'm not puffy.
Right.
You know, I think that's the biggest thing I notice. And
yeah, whenever
I
I take a break,
glass of wine, but
whenever you take a break, you start to realize how it's usually, if it were just that, it'd be one thing, but it's usually like a snowball type of thing.
Yeah.
Where like, I remember when I abstained from alcohol, then you sleep better and then you don't need caffeine in the morning. And it's sort of like this cycle of chemicals that we do to like feel just like okay.
Yes. Yes, it's like the maintenance thing. Yes. Mm-hmm. And so I've like cut out a lot of that and it feels really good. The one thing I can't get down though is the sleep though. I have to go to my doctor because I'm getting like 3 hours a night and I can't do anything fucking about it.
I'm not surprised. That menopause stuff.
It's menopause. Joke. It's fucking menopause. And I am exhausted. And then I looked it up. I was like, because there was one day where I couldn't get my fucking estrogen patch prescription filled. So I went 2 days without it. And I was looking at what are the side effects of like skipping your estrogen. And they said insomnia and fatigue. Tell me how that's possible.
Right.
Are you fucking kidding me? So I was like, why am I exhausted at 4 p.m. but also at 4 a.m. can't go to bed?
Well, and all the tips anyone would give are annoying. Because I was like, you know what would help? Meditation. Go fuck yourself.
I'm like, I'm doing everything. Right. I know all that. So like now I need something to just like take me out. And yeah, I used some CBD gummies last night and that was a little more helpful. Or like this, you know.
Are you off the pot?
No, I'm not crazy. I mean, I've definitely cut back.
I'm just asking because, like, do you not ever take that to go to sleep? Sativa or indica or whatever.
I think I have the wrong stuff. It's not working. I need a fucking tranquilizer, a dart, whatever.
Oh my gosh, this is a job for. It's like Michael Jackson, man. I always think I get how he got to that propofol phase because you just want to sleep so bad.
Yeah. Oh, I get it.
Let's hope you don't get to that point.
Yeah, I'm getting close, so we'll see. Okay, but let's talk about some actual stories that I have for you today. Fine. It's about fucking time. Okay, where do I want to start? First, very important update. Charlotte the Stingray.
It's a barren spinster.
I mean...
Charlotte the Stingray.
I've been following this story. You guys have heard about us talking about this a couple months ago. I got real excited. Everybody was like, oh my gosh, what's happening? There's a stingray that's become pregnant. And
without a mate.
And we know that does happen to some sea creatures, some sea life. They have the ability to do that. But here's the part that I'm like, I don't like this story.
Yeah.
I got so into it because I was told in all these news reports, the multiple reports that I looked at, that there were ultrasounds done.
Yes.
And that we saw the babies. So
Yeah.
I'm like, there are babies. This is what's the debate?
Yeah.
Now, no comment from the old fish shop. And
did you say fish shop?
I did.
I thought it was an aquarium.
Well, yeah, but what?
Oh, okay.
I think they sell fish there. I think it's like a fish shop.
Oh, I thought it was like a zoo and aquarium.
No, I don't think so. I think this is like where
they're just drumming up business.
I think so. I think that this was I think people can go there and visit. Like they probably have like a tank that I don't know. I have actually no idea. But I do know that they were full of shit, and that they were selling T-shirts. They were like driving up their
there needs to be a class action suit for everyone that bought a T-shirt.
Right. Like this is false advertising.
So it really is.
And I looked for the explanation, and it was just kind of like
yeah. Because that's what I saw online. People were like, wait a minute, they faked an ultrasound or whatever.
Yes, I think they did. And they haven't outright said
sick.
that. But I'm like, this is why we have a show called Things We Got Wrong. Because
they need that show.
I mean, when and I am
Charlotte is a victim of exploitation.
Yes.
She has been
used. And I so have I been. And I just I hate that I am this way.
What way?
Gullible, really excited about stories like that. I should have been more skeptical.
How could
I know
you have
just
been?
enough to be dangerous. Which
Sarah,
is like
you're victim blaming.
I know a few facts about oceans and lobsters, and I'm
they
nope,
took
definitely
advantage.
a pregnancy. Okay, thank you.
They took advantage of our optimism and our limited knowledge and our desire to get rid of men.
I mean, of course I'm going to fall for it. This has all my favorite things.
Yeah. It's terrible what they've done. And I feel bad that she's also not pregnant because she probably wanted to be.
I know. What if it's like that eagle who just wants a little baby? Now they need to get like foster babies for her or something like that.
Oh, Charlotte.
Yeah. I recently went to the Denver Aquarium, and they have a tank where you can pet stingrays.
Yes, I've seen these.
I love them. They are so fun to pet. They are so the best
silky
texture.
Mm-hmm. How would you describe it?
Silky and slimy at the same time, but also smooth but
refreshing.
not goopy.
Yeah, no goop.
Like it's just slick, but not gooey.
Are you trying to tell me, though, that these are the same creatures that killed the crocodile hunter?
Yes.
Number one, how? So, like, how are they the same?
So, different species of stingrays, I think, have different ways of defending themselves. So these are ones that can't kill you. And I think some of I don't know, don't quote me on this, but maybe the ones in those tanks, they could have, I don't know, do they remove the that would suck if they did that, remove it. I hope they don't do that. I shouldn't say that.
They must be different because they act.
But they've got to be different.
It seems pretty harmless.
Yeah, and I think that they're different kinds because I know he got like the stinger right through the chest, and it happened to puncture his heart.
Yeah,
that's why he died, because it was so.
I gotta say though, tip of the hat to his crew who protected that freaking footage that they have of him dying.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Because it never got out, and I really commend them because disgusting people would want to see it.
That family is just, I just love him. Steve Irwin, he just did so much good for this.
This is just an Irwin family appreciation podcast now.
It really is. It really, really is. I'm fine with that. Yeah. I'm like Australia kick too. I like follow all these Australian wildlife conservation people keep coming up in my feeds. And what the result of that is, I have now my internal monologue has an Australian accent for the last week.
Whoa.
Which don't ask me to say it out loud because it somehow falls apart when I think it and then go to say it with that. I can't.
At a certain point, though, it goes from being an inner monologue to multiple personalities.
Yeah, right. This wasn't on my list today, but I did just hear this on NPR that there was a recent study that was done where linguists researched the accent that people have when they study abroad and they come back, and it's real.
Yeah.
I was surprised at that. So maybe we should give Madonna a little more credit and stop being so mean to her. And,
Okay.
But if you say everything else regular and then call it Ibiza, then I'm annoyed with you.
Well, for sure, Adam is developing more American, style of speaking, and I don't love it.
I don't love that either.
He pronounces hard R's a lot, like at the end of a word, like better. I notice he says.
He used to say better.
Yeah, and I know it's not intentional, but he's been here for 10 years, or 14. That's 14 years he's been in America. So, the American study abroad thing, that's only a few months.
Right.
How's that happening so fast?
Did the article talk about the age of people? If this is something that happens at every age or if it's something specific? Because I would imagine it has to do with areas of the brain.
Youth.
Yeah. And certain areas not being developed and then getting developed in that way. And in the same way we learn languages better, younger, those kind of I don't know. I have no idea. This is just Sarah's got a theory kind of thing.
All right, so we shouldn't make fun of people who study abroad and then come back with a twang of whatever.
Yeah, and I think you may bring up a good point when you talk about it in the reverse, how people come to America and then become more Americanized in how they speak and
because nobody
language.
Wants that.
Right.
Nobody's shooting for that.
Right, and that I think goes. It's not as noticeable as the American who then comes back with the.
Right. That seems intentional because that's attractive. To sound British is more attractive. But to sound American, like when
how
we
is
go
that
back,
perceived?
Not good.
Really?
You mean how did they think we sound?
Yeah.
Like garbage.
Oh my God. I didn't know that. But kind of we do.
Like when I go there with him, they compliment it, but it's more like you would a Labrador.
Oh.
Where it's like they're making fun of you, really.
Okay.
They don't want it.
Right. Okay.
We
Kinda
sound
like
stupid.
Yeah. Interesting. That makes sense.
They like Southern accents. I know.
Huh.
So annoying.
Well, I like Southern accent,
but who
too.
doesn't? That's what I mean. That's why it's annoying. I agree.
I was like, I listen to too much Leanne Morgan. All of a sudden I'm from the South.
It's so charming.
It is so charming. You can pretty much say anything, bless her heart.
But we just sound like dumbasses.
Yeah. Anyways, that was not on my list. But
let's think of more things that aren't on your list.
I know, right? I'm like, this is a fun game.
One thing that's on my list, mainly because they're, a sponsor of the Brain Candy podcast. Mm-hmm. But also because I love them, is BetterHelp.
Oh, you know what I'm going to say? Shout out to Sherry.
Shout out to Sherry.
This is the longest I've been in therapy regularly since the pandemic.
Do you see what these men do to you?
Yeah. I should send them the bill, which luckily is reasonable thanks to BetterHelp.
Right. I mean, I do think that's something to think about, Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
About how long you have to be in therapy after a breakup should tell you something.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, shout out to Sherry. But everybody has their own stuff. Stress, grief, relationships, whatever. Yeah. Whatever is on your agenda.
Goal setting.
Setting. Yeah, but you can Go to BetterHelp, and it's convenient and flexible, suited to your schedule. Do it from your house. Do it from wherever you are. It's so easy. You just fill out a little questionnaire, and you can get matched with therapists that speak to what you need and what you want. And you should take a moment. Visit BetterHelp.com/BrainCandy today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/BrainCandy. We love them, and everybody needs therapy. And that's all I have to say about it.
Yeah, love it. Okay. This is fun. I can't believe that we never talked about this. And if we did, then I don't remember. But have you heard about or seen the reality TV show that Tony Danza did? That sounds like a setup to a joke. Okay, I hadn't either. And I'm like, we are two experts, if you will, in the reality field or whatever.
Yeah.
And you'd think that this would have like come across our desk. So, back in 2011, I believe it was 2011. Yes. 2010. There was a show on A&E called Teach: Tony Danza. And
that's so funny.
So Tony Danza really cares about education. Like, is very passionate about it.
Well, gosh.
We Susie, you're gonna fucking love Tony Danza.
I had no idea.
Oh, get ready. You're gonna love him. No, the opposite. I was like, Tony Danza just like wins?
We were wrong about Tony Danza?
Yeah, way wrong.
Wow.
Okay, so here's the story. So in 2011, 2010, this show comes out, and he really cared about exploring the challenges that teachers face in the classroom. And so he became a teacher. And this reality show was him teaching a 10th grade class. He taught English at Northeastern High School in Philadelphia from 2009 to 2010. So here are the key aspects of the show.
The worst part about this is that instead of watching this, I was watching freaking Honey Boo Boo. But go ahead.
That 100%. Or everybody else was watching, or we were too busy watching ourselves.
Long Island Medium.
Yeah. So the series, it looked at his efforts to connect with students, to manage classroom behavior, and create effective lesson plans, and provided an insight into the educational system and the daily struggles and triumphs of teachers and students. Wow. So the show consisted of 7 episodes, and each episode focused on a different challenge that he encountered. And this included like disciplinary issues, having like parent-teacher meetings, balancing his responsibilities as a teacher with being in the limelight. Here's the problem, though. It was so heartwarming and wonderful that after 7 episodes, the producers were like, I don't think this show is the drama we want it to be. So they wanted him to stir up and create like problems. They wanted to manufacture problems. And so you know what Tony said? Tony Danza was like, nope, I do not want to do that. I do not want to exploit the children in that way.
That's infuriating.
He canceled the show and kept teaching the rest of the year.
I got chills.
Me too! He kept teaching, then goes on to write a book, which, by the way, we have to fucking make as one of our book club picks. The book, in 2012, he published a book titled, I'd Like to Apologize to Every Teacher I Had, My Year as a Rookie Teacher at Northeastern High. I'm gonna cry. I mean, Susie, is that not...
Anthony Louise Danza.
Right.
You need a better publicist.
Is this not the exact kind of show that we would have loved, that we would want to be watching, that we would have fought to have another season of? And we didn't even know about it because I was busy running up and down hills.
But how do we also not know about his book tour, Tony?
I know, a book about what I learned being a teacher from a reality show where you're... the overlap, how this is...
The algorithm has failed us.
It really has. I'm like, really? 2024 is when you bring this story to me, huh? So, there you go.
I am stunned
That's a little bit of old gossip, I guess, sort of.
Yeah, it is. And it's the best kind.
So
I thought he was just a tap dancing.
No, we love him.
Sitcom star.
Nope. The fact that he stayed, he was like, nope, send the cameras away. And then he did not want to give up on those kids because he recognized the importance of finishing out the school year. And the students said that he was so great. He came back and then gave, a few years later, I don't know how long later, but gave the like commencement speech, like spoke at graduation.
Anthony. Wow. And shout out to teachers.
I know. It's just
I don't know
like,
what we're going to do. Because they have had it.
Teachers and nurses. It seems like a big problem when the two, arguably the most important careers to keep this all functioning.
Yeah.
You know? Because the doctors cannot do the nurses' jobs. They just can't. They don't do it well.
Did Tony originally...
Parents can't teach.
That's for sure.
We've learned that.
My kid can't read cursive. Did Tony agree to this project just because he was approached and sounded fun, and then he stuck with it, or was he passionate, do you think, and he spearheaded the project? Like, I wonder how that went.
He wanted to pursue his lifelong dream of becoming a teacher, it says.
Okay, so he's always been into this,
yes.
but then he experienced it. Okay.
Yes.
Wow. God bless Anthony Danza.
And I think that area, Philadelphia, is it's like he was in a difficult school district with challenges. And I just love that because who knew?
Thanks for sharing.
You're welcome. You know, every now and then. I try. I know I'm gonna. It's no REM sleep study that like blew my mind that you did a few episodes ago. That just like, I mean, I'm getting people writing to me like, "Oh my God, that was nuts, wasn't it?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I was there."
Man, we're doing the Lord's work, and if you people don't use our codes, this whole thing is going.
God,
I don't know
use
why
our
I keep
codes.
saying it.
Everyone
keeps DMing me like, "Are you okay?"
I'm glad they see that this is important. I got a roof over my head. I got a mortgage to pay. I got, we got to keep the lights on. Okay, what else do I have to talk about? This is just like a little thing that I wrote in my notes, but have you seen or heard about Google's AI feature that is spitting out some pretty fucking wild recommendations? Like, it's okay to smoke while you're pregnant.
Yeah. I have.
That's nuts. I don't really have any more to say than just what the fuck.
There was that recipe that said to include rocks.
Oh,
like there was
my God.
Yeah. Yeah.
How can Google get it so wrong? And
they're like tripping over themselves just trying to be like the first.
Oh,
and
God.
It's like, maybe we should wait till it's good.
Yeah.
How about that idea?
It's all bad. So I wrote that down of like, don't use. It feels just like we really, don't use and Google AI. It just feels like there was outrage when people were doing the Tide Pod challenge, and they were like, "Oh, I got to put out warnings. Don't do this, don't do that." But what am I supposed to do when the computer is the thing that you go to for the information is then spitting out? I feel like, do you think we're going to go full circle? And do you remember when you were a kid and you had to actually go to the library to do a book report, and you had to like, me too. I'll never forget. My first one was on pandas. So when I first got acquainted with the old Dewey Decimal System, and it feels like the way things are headed with AI and ChatGPT and everything, people just letting that do your homework, that we're going to end up back at the place where the teachers are sending the kids to the library to use actual published material. But even then you can publish whatever the fuck you want on Amazon, and it's all weird.
They have criteria now that when he does Lincoln does reports and stuff.
Oh, what is it? Tell me.
Like, you can't use Wikipedia. You have to use actual primary and secondary sources that are like legitimate. Mm-hmm. And it annoys them. Like, he's like,
oh, that he has to do it. Right. Well,
because when you know there's a shortcut, when you know that there's something that's like fine, because I use Wikipedia. It's useful. It's a great tool, but you have to know how to use it effectively. And he doesn't really understand that. And why would he? He's 12. But
that seems like a class that they should offer, like online or media. What would they call it? Media, like
literacy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's the same reason why older folks
Susie.
are at a greater risk of scams, because they didn't grow up with technology, and so like they haven't learned that. And then young people are at risk of like misinformation. Like Lincoln said to me the other day, hey, they found that missing plane, that Malaysian plane that crashed. And I go, why wasn't it on New York Times? And he goes, I don't know. And so then I go and look, and I said, oh, like some fisherman says he found it, but like it's not verified, and like blah, blah, blah. So, you know, I had to provide the context, but like not everyone has a parent that's doing that.
Right. Most people have parents who are like, hey, look, they found the pieces of the plane to the kid. That's usually how that goes. There's a lot of
factors that happen in that story that are not typical for the American family. And that means a lot of people, that's why whenever you ever hear like people talk about politics and you think, how could they possibly believe that?
Right.
Well, they are living in a totally different reality than you.
Totally different reality. That is fact. I just saw something the other day that was, it was a husband and wife or boyfriend or whatever that were looking at the exact same video from the exact same account on their Instagram. And it was a video of a woman who was just like checking her clock. Like she was supposed to meet up with her boyfriend at like noon. And it was like, he was supposed to, like, he's golfing and let's see what time he actually arrives. And she like checks her watch like every half hour. Then like time goes on, like 6 hours later, he finally shows up. And on the woman's feed, she goes and clicks on the comments, and it's all like things that she would agree with. Like, I can't believe that guy didn't change. The comments changed. The top comments changed. So there were like, I don't know, 1,000 comments on this thing. She goes to click it. The comments that she sees at the top are all like, yeah, that jerk, why isn't he calling you, or da-da-da. He goes to click on it, and the top comments for him are, what is she so worried about? Like pro the dude's position, anti the woman's position. Same exact post, same exact time, same exact everything, but based on what the algorithm believes each of them would want to see, they are filtered that. So if you look at that, you would think, wow, the majority of people, the top people, believe the same as me.
Yeah.
And that's incorrect.
That's shocking. I didn't know that.
I didn't know it either until I saw it. And then I started thinking about it and recognizing what kind of comments get pulled up. Because sometimes I'll see videos and it'll say, oh my gosh, I can't believe there's so many jerks in the comments. And then I got to scroll down so far to even see that. And I'm like, oh, it just gives me all the nice stuff.
I know.
Top. So I think that is because of what we watch and what we listen to, or, look at, and how the algorithm is feeding us.
Wow. That's interesting. But it's all fine if you're equipped to filter and navigate it accordingly. But
teenagers aren't.
No, and most people are freaking busy.
Right.
You're asking too much.
Yeah.
There was a video on the New York Times that showed a tribe in the Amazon who, thanks to... Did you see it?
I saw just the headline of it. They give them phones.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was, they didn't give them phones, but they got the internet because of Starlink through Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Which is great. Like, it's great to have a source of contact for everyone in the world.
Yeah.
But it was so fascinating because what we have been introduced to so slowly, like a frog in boiling water, cold water.
Yep.
And we've had to sort of navigate and maybe grapple with and adjust to over time. This tribe was introduced to all at once.
Right.
And so they were seeing these.
Oh my God.
It was affecting their hunting because they were just staring at the phones. And they had to limit the internet to only the morning and the evening because people were like not doing their work.
Oh my God. That shows you. I think those moments were the when you see that transition, like what came to my mind was like when I went into menopause versus how every other person slowly slides into it. And I'm like, nope, all these symptoms are fucking real because I didn't have them yesterday. And now I have them today. So don't tell me this is all in my head or this isn't real. So you could see when they didn't have it one day and they did have it the next day, woo, you could see a big difference.
Mm-hmm. So they were experiencing porn, misinformation, games, all sorts of things suddenly.
I'm nervous.
No, it's just that the consequences were sudden.
Yeah.
And so, like you're saying, it's obvious what is happening. And then they had to adjust so that they could only see it during certain times or whatever. But my point is just that the feeling that you have, like, why am I on Instagram again? Or that feeling of guilt, the feeling of a lack of productivity.
Yes.
Whatever. Okay,
disappointment
fine.
in yourself.
We all have, you sure. We could choose not to be doing that. But when you see that it's by design, and that somebody is making an extraordinary amount of money, exploiting the weaknesses of the human condition, it's a lot more forgivable, and you realize that.
Oh, wow. That is fascinating. I would want to know, like, what kind of things they were looking at, what kind of things, like, what did they get into? The porn is
Same
really...
shit we all do.
I know! That's
humans
the crazy
are
thing.
Humans.
We
Period.
are. We think we're so unique and different. I was just talking about this on This Changes Everything, how even though all of our problems and all of our situations the details are different, if you think about people and their problems and what we all really want and need and blah, 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 I imagine it makes me think of tract housing. You know how tract houses, you go into like a neighborhood with tract housing and there'll be 5 different models, but sometimes it's like the model is flipped or it's the mirror image or it's just like the same thing, but it's the same layout, the same everything. And there are like 5 different layouts, just configured differently. It's kind of how I feel like it is with people, that we have 5 different layouts and plans that are just kind of flipped a little bit or a little bit different here and there, and then we decorate the inside of those houses however we want, and it's all our personalities, they all can look different on the inside, be filled with whatever you want, but at the end of the day, we're all pretty much the same 5 models.
That's right.
And
then if you can be a home that's welcoming and lovely, well, you're doing all right.
Yes. Oh, I like that. That's real
I'll
cute.
help you see other things more clearly too, thanks to Pair Eyewear. And I was just having this meltdown the other day because I seriously don't know if what I'm experiencing is a result of aging.
Yes.
Or something more, but I'm determined to figure it out. But I've had to buy like so many glasses. And I'm so thankful for Pair Eyewear because it is so easy and affordable that has not been a problem. Because I'm not kidding you. I keep trying different prescriptions and different stuff to try to figure out what is going on with my vision. And it's so annoying. But at least I can look cute. And you can get the sun tops on your glasses. So you get your glasses, but then you just click on the...
Cute.
So you don't have to be a weirdo with those like weird... What are they called? Transitions?
Transition lenses.
No transitions over here. You just get the magnet toppers to put on when you're driving or out in the world, and it is so awesome. Or you can get the toppers that are cute, different colors, different
love that.
styles. You can do that too.
seasonal.
And they're
so
very
fun.
affordable.
I love a monochrome look, and you can like match your glasses to your outfit. So cute.
It's so cute and it's so helpful. Snap into summer and get 15% off your first pair with code BCP. Ooh, that's a new code at paireyewear.com. Support the show by mentioning the Brain Candy Podcast sent you in your post-checkout survey. That's PAIR eyewear.com, code BCP. This stuff, they are great. They're super cute, very durable. You'll love
And
them.
you gave me the best segue I could have ever asked for.
Oh my gosh.
Because I want to talk about how our eyes are getting way worse and fast. And it's happening at a rate that researchers and eye doctors are like, this is a problem and we need to do something about it. So myopia, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. It's basically nearsightedness is on the rise. And we're not talking just a little bit.
Yeah.
The prevalence of myopia in the U.S. increased from 25% of people suffering from this in the early 70s to nearly 42% 3 decades later. What? And remember, go ahead.
I was just going to say, whenever I was making medium talk with my optometrist, I said, like, what is exciting to you about the field right now? Like, what is cooking? Like, is there any good? I was basically being like, can you cure me? Is there like good science coming up? But he said what was the most fascinating was what we're describing, this sudden nearsighted problem.
Yes. And so they are looking at this globally to try to get some information on what's causing this. And the people doing the research say that we see in more countries where there's a more formal education system, we see higher rates of this, where younger children spend more time doing what they call near work. Near work is reading, looking at a computer, being on a screen, everything that's very near to your eyes. Do you remember a while ago I talked on the podcast and I said my doctor told me that I needed glasses because I was reading too much when I was a little kid and holding the book too close to my face? And that's what it's that is. I didn't realize that
because you guys are like, oh, I only need this now.
Yep. And so kids who spend time outdoors, who are not in countries where there's a more formal education system, seem to develop this at much lower rates. Mm-hmm. So
they're saying basically the good news is there's a cure.
Yeah,
it's to send your kids outside.
Right.
Let them
play.
Screens.
Get them off the screen. Like that.
Your eyes need a break from the close-up work.
They are more likely to develop cataracts, glaucoma, macular degeneration, retinal detachment. Smaller, moderate degrees, they say don't worry. But the problem is that the total number of people who have developed it is 5 to 15% of them will become nearsighted in the very high category. So like you're really... And they said that's a problem when you're looking at millions of people around the world at risk for vision loss. Millions of people.
Think about it. We're all looking at screens all day, phones and computers.
Oh my God.
You do the 20-20-20 rule too.
What's that?
Every 20 minutes, you take a break from your computer, whatever, your screen, and look 20 feet away for 20 seconds.
Oh, that's really going to interrupt my therapy sessions.
You can do it. Because 20 feet's not that far.
Okay.
You could even look down the hall or, you know.
So I can still be engaging in a normal conversation.
Yeah,
and I can like just pretend. Oh, okay.
Or like they think you're still like engaged. And your ears still work.
Yeah, right. It's fine. Yeah. So there's some information for you.
And, I mean, most people aren't therapists. Like most of us are just like
regular
sending dumb emails.
Yeah.
So
I did do that thing where you can set the iPhone now to alert you if you're holding it too close, and I had to turn it off because apparently that's the only place I hold it is too close. So do you know? Oh, do you not know about this setting?
No.
I had to turn it off
because it's constant.
Because I'm like. Honestly, I said, I can't read it. I said, I can't read it that far. And you know what the answer is? Make the text bigger. And I'm like, I'm
We used to be young.
Susie, I think about this every day now. I'm like, okay, the algorithm only gives me things for women over 40 now because it's just like, you're definitely in it.
I wonder, you know how no, I'm sure
What?
this is unrelated, but I was
Tell
thinking
me.
about how most people's nearsightedness deteriorates at 40.
Yeah.
That's when you start being like, oh, I gotta
Right.
the bill when you get the check at a restaurant. It's like,
yeah.
But
Yeah.
if you're it's not related to hormones or anything, right? It's just
can't be.
How did my
Age.
eyes know how old I am?
Oh, I want to know the same thing for your ears and those tones that all of a sudden they play that sound and it's like I've seen that thing where it'll play a tone and then the tone will change and the number on the screen will be the age in which you're not able to hear it. It happens and you're just like, there's still noise coming out, but I can't hear it. And it freaks me out. And mine is exactly at 35 years old. I got a few extra years, but it is exact.
I'm going to do it with Lincoln.
It is exact.
Because Lincoln, you're telling me, could hear higher frequencies like a dog.
Yes. Guaranteed. And then he will look at you like you're out of your fucking mind because you can't hear it. He's going to be like, you can't hear this?
Sneaky apps that alert at a frequency only kids can hear. So then the parents are like walking around thinking their kid's not looking at weird stuff. Right. But they are.
Yep. That's legit.
This hasn't been a great hour for me.
But remember Tony Danza?
I mean, he really is the boss.
Yeah. It's the boss. We need more Tony Danza bosses.
Do you think that because he's so nice, that's why his career's in the shitter?
Yeah. Because I do believe that.
Tap dancing. I mean, that's
I think if because don't you feel, wouldn't you put like Howie Mandel, he doesn't tap dance, but Howie Mandel and Donny Osmond in the same category as Tony Danza as like people who have a talent but also can host something, and you'd be like, this is lovely.
Yeah.
I think that he is too nice and hasn't like fought for that position, like edge. Like I also think what's AC Slater's name? Mario Lopez. I'd put him in the same category.
Yeah.
It's like they're like,
I don't know how he rehabilitated though, because he was like this close from me canceling him whenever he was married before to this lady for like 2 seconds, Allie Landry or something.
Oh yeah.
And she was like, he is the worst. Like he was going to strip clubs and he was like, maybe he was just young. I mean, he was a young famous guy, so whatever. But I just thought, this guy is problematic. Yeah. I think it was even like when she was pregnant.
That rings a bell. It does. That feels like familiar.
Something like that. And I just thought, but maybe he's matured and now he's like just a nice Tony Danza type.
Yeah. I feel like Tony Danza wouldn't rate as high on the narcissism scale as some of these other guys who are more successful. Men and women.
And Tony Danza performed on the Dick Van Dyke special that aired this past winter. And I feel like he's innocent by association then, too. Yes, definitely. If you're friends with Dick Van Dyke, you cannot be a dick.
Right.
Van Dyke.
Right. Yeah, I agree. We should read that book and then we'll know more.
I appreciate you telling me about that because I will read the book. Yeah. And I will watch clips of this show.
Yeah, we should watch it. There's 7 episodes. I really want to see it.
Was it on like network television?
A&E. Yeah.
I'm so mad because I really was watching Honey Boo Boo at this time.
Yeah, and I feel like that you're just a couple clicks over. You're on Lifetime and just a few stations up was A&E.
Or was it TLC?
Oh, TLC.
Yeah, you got to recognize and like... Yeah. Instead of watching this heartwarming programming.
Yeah. And I was watching Dog the Bounty Hunter. And that's it.
My God. Yeah, do you love, just before we go, do you love him?
Dog the Bounty Hunter?
Yeah. Is it the Law and Order thing? Like where you live, it's justice or what?
Yeah, I think it's justice and a little bit like a character in a way. Like it feels like the same reason I liked Gene Simmons' Family Jewels and the Hulk Hogan show.
Oof.
I know.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, you're drawn to characters. That's what I'm picking up.
I am. Yeah.
Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Yeah, I just liked it.
At least he was seeking justice.
Yeah.
All right, well, we covered a lot of ground, but a lot of it was negative. I mean, even just like the furniture expose that we had.
Oh, right. We're talking about furniture falling apart. We're talking about eyes falling apart. We're talking about everything. Our pets' heads are falling off. Oh, that's great.
But I don't know. I think the worst thing we talked about was Charlotte the Stingray.
Oh, you know what? I didn't even realize that this was going to be such a
because that's disgusting.
Episode. I didn't mean for this.
And why is there like
I know. I'm grossed out by it. I'm really upset.
For-profit aquarium.
I don't like anything about it now, and it just feels like this feels like the same as the birds are drones, where I'm like, what are we doing here to try to just like drum up publicity? Oh, excuse me, I burped a little. Sorry. You can
Grand finale.
Yeah.
All right, Tony Danza, A+, teacher. AI, Google mistakes.
F-.
That is the canary in the coal mine, people.
Yep,
Hello.
Yep.
Like, is that Sam Altman that's the CEO of OpenAI?
Oh, yeah.
And they committed to like working with ethics, whatever, and then they just didn't.
Yeah, I love when people say we're committed to doing that. No, that's not action. That's just that's just talk.
They're like pinky swear.
Yeah.
They didn't do it.
No.
Sam, I see you. You're the next Elon.
Yeah. Ugh, gross.
Anyway, Amazon Tribe, they got porn, whatevs. And I wonder what kind of porn they watch.
That's what I want to know.
Yeah,
that's
like,
what I like. I got
into like.
I gotta know. I gotta. In my mind, big boobs just jumps out at me. I don't know why.
Or booty. I could see that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? The old classics.
I think if you haven't been exposed to a pair of fake tits before, and then all of a sudden you see those everywhere, you're going to be like, whoa, that looks different than what the ladies in my village had.
That's so true. Because believe me, it does.
It does.
And that's like what I don't like about them, but what maybe they would like about them.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Sarah, you're so right.
Listen, I don't know much, but when I do know something,
she has a sense.
I know something.
All right, people.
We'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.